Okay, folks, welcome back. We're back on the New York Times for today, and we're going to go ahead and stick with the hard puzzles. Let's see what we have here. All right, kind of an even smattering all over the place. First thing I notice is these threes here make a nice intersection straight down this lane and this lane, so the only place left for a three is right here. Now I also have a 5 and a 2 that go down this lane, which if you guys have been watching, you know that I love lanes. Because now these two are double locked. They have to be 2s and 5s because of this 2 and 5. Then the other three numbers we're missing is a 1 and a 6 and a 7. Okay, which have a 1 this way and a 6 this way and 7. Okay, so this can, nope, not a 2. 1 or 7. This one can be a 1, 6, or 7, and this one could be a 6 or a 7. So those are the three numbers. Now the three numbers that we're missing down here, because we have a 1, 2, 3, we need a 4. Okay, we've got our 5, we've got our 6, we've got our 7. Okay, we need an 8 and we need a 9. Now we have a 9 here and a 9 here, so our 9 has to go here. We have an 8 here, so no 8 there, so the only place for an 8. And therefore, the only place left for our 4, just by rules of elimination, is right there. Okay, all right, let's take a gander and see where that takes us, shall we? We have a 1 and a 5 that go down the center here. Okay, okay. All right. We know that we have a 4 down the left side here, so we know that one of these two has to be our 4. Oh, cool. So I see a double lock, folks. You see how we have a 2 and a 5 here? You see how we have a 2 and a 5 here? That means these two can't be 2s and 5s. And guess what? Look, here's another 2 and a 5. So that means this spot here and this spot here are the only two that can be a 2 or a 5. So that means this is actually the only spot that can even be a 4. So that's a double lock. Those 2s and 5s, because of the way that it's lined up, these can only be 2s and 5s right there. Only leaves a 4 for there. And the next two numbers we're missing looks like a 1 and a 6. So we'll throw those guys in there. That double locks those fellers. So we know that the numbers over here, of course, are now a 7 and a 3. And of course, we have 3s coming down and we have 7s coming down. So, but we can mark that 3, 7. I should have marked them both. I don't know how. There we go. 3s and 7s. So that's good. Okay, and then we can see that our 2s and 5s can't be here, but it could be one of these two spots. Okay. Our 1 says it has to be here. 2s, 3s, 4s, 5s. So our 6 has to be here somewhere. 7, 8, 9. Okay. Okay, cool. Cool, cool, cool. All right. So we have 2 3s. I'm going to start looking for pairs here. So the 2 3s coming this way. Just looking at the 3 across. I'm going to look at these 3 across. We got 2 9s. So we've got a 9 top, left or right. Look at these pairs. I got a pair of 8s, so 8s have to be at the bottom. I've got a pair of 4s, so 4s have to be somewhere in here. Got a pair of 5s coming to the right, so one of these two has to be my 5. Now I'm going to use both vertical and horizontals. I see I've got some 7s here. So my 7 has to be top and bottom with this 7 and this 7. Boop, 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 boop. We have a 2 and a 2. Does that help us? We got 4 choices there. We've got a 9 and a 9. Does that help us? Not a lot. let's see what else we have. We've got a 2 and a 2, so one of these three have to be a 2. Okay, so this one says that this one can't be a 1. I've been looking both this direction and I noticed a pair of 1s here. So that tells me this cannot be a 1, and this cannot be a 1, and this one cannot be a 1. So that tells me this is actually the only cell that can be a 1. Now that pushes our 7 and our 5. Now this 7 is going to help us over here, so this one has to be our 3. This one has to be our 7. Okay. Now we have a pair of 7s over here, so our 7 has to be here or here. Let's see what else we have. Okay, we do have a 9 and a 9 now that make a nice pair, so the 9 has to be in one of these two spots. So the 9 has to be in the bottom. Sure does. Oh, hey, look, there's 2 spots. Anytime there's 2 spots, I always want to take a moment and look at them because there's only going to be 2 numbers that they can be, which it looks like a 2 and a 3. So I'm going to look vertically, no help, but that's okay. Let's make sure we mark those 2s and 3s. All right. Let's see what else. We put some more numbers in here. Let's see if those help us any more. Um, um, okay, so we do have a 2 and a 5, what I call a ghost row. So I have a 2, so you can't have a 2 up here, 2 across the bottom, 2 in the right. So we have to have a 2 here. We have a 5 ghost row that comes across and up through the middle. We have a 5 going this way ghost row and a 5 and a 5. Okay, so our 5 over here has to be in one of these 2 spots. See this 5 going up and this 5 going up? And if one of these 2 has to be a 5, that means you cannot have a 5 in these 2. That's why I call it a ghost row, because there's not a solid number there, but you know one of those 2 has to be it, so it focuses out, it reflects out with the possibility that you cannot have another 5 in that row in this instance. The same thing works for the columns. Same things works for the cubes. We have a 1 that comes up and a 1 that comes across. So we still have 3 choices for our 1. Let's see. Oh, there we go. 7s. Got a pair of 7s across the top, pair of 7s across the bottom, and a 7 up the left side. So there's only 1 spot left for our 7. Okay, that is helpful. Boop, boop, boop. So now we still have a 7 somewhere in the middle. 2, oh, there we go. Okay, so we have a 2 and a 2. So that tells me that one of these 2 have to be a 2. So that gives us another ghost row. Remember how we were doing that ghost row up here with these 2s and 5s? So we can't have a 2 or a 5 here, and I can't have a 2 here. So that tells me that one of these 2 has to be my 2. Okay. And we kind of already had the 2 sorted, but it could have been 3 spots. Now it's just 2. Then I'll try to mark it. I try to hold off until there's only 2 spots. It just helps keep my pencil marks cleaner. Okay, and we've only got 2 spots for the 1s, so let me go ahead and mark that. Actually, here we go. We have a pair of 1s right here and a 1 that comes down here. So our 1 goes right there. Says this can't be a 1 anymore. So the only spot left for a 1 is right there. Okay, alrighty. So we've got our 2, and what was the other number we were missing? a 5, the 6. So now I have two spots that a 6 can only go in. There's a 6, there's a 6. Now 5 could be in either one of these. So let me go ahead and just write them in. It's getting to the spot where I want to make sure. See, this top one's all marked out. So now these three center ones are all marked out all the way. Okay, so that's good. That will help me in the long run here. So let's see now. We're putting some more numbers in. Okay, so now, okay, great, perfect. So see this 5 now comes up in this column. Now this 5 comes over here. So remember these ghost rows we're talking about? In this cube, I just created a ghost row. So that tells me this can't be a 5 anymore, and this can't be a 5 anymore, because the 5 in this cube has to be in the center. So shwink. Now there's only one spot left for a 5, only one spot left for a 2, and now only one spot left for a 6. Now this 5 is going to help us up here because it was either a 2 or a 5. And this 2 or 5 is now a 5. There we go. So that helps us out a little bit in getting some of those cleaned up. We like that. Okay, we already have the 5 identified over here. Okay. 1, 2, buckle my shoe. Let's see, we have a 3 and a 4, and they can't go here. 3 or a 4 are not here, but they can go all the other spots. 5, 6, 7, and the elusive 8. Okay. All right, okay. So we're throwing some numbers in. Now we've got 3 spots left in this row here. So let me take a look at it real quick. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, I need a 6. Oh, and look at this. I have a 6 here and a 6 here, which actually makes this my 6. So, and it also says that this is the only spot left for a 6 over here. Now that sorts me out for my 2 over here. Okay, so these now are 9s and 8s. So the only 2 numbers left, and that also now double locks them, which tells me that these 2 numbers are 3s and 4s, which kind of help match what's missing over here. So now we have a 3 and a 4 and a 3 and, whoop, a little higher. There we go. 3 and a 4. And that also now helps us that we only have 2 numbers left. And one of those has to be a 1. See, we have a 1 here, so it can't be here. So there's a 1 in one of those 2 spots. There's our 2. We have our 3 and our 4, and then the other number is going to, of course, be that 8 and 9. One of them is going to go here, but not a 9, so that could be our 1 and our 8. Now this one, I don't have any way to decide 8 or 9 not, so we'll put both of those in there. Now this column is completely marked out. Okay, let's see, just kind of letting the numbers fall. What column or row or cube do I want to look at next? Okay, so we know that this is a 3 or a 4, so there's only 2 numbers missing, so this one is now double locked as a 3 and a 4, cannot be changed. So that is handy dandy. So we have a 1, we have a 2. So 3, let's go ahead and mark out where all the 3's can be. Okay, and then we need a 4, and the same thing applies here with these 4's. We have our 5 marked, 6, 7, and now we need our 8 marked. Now 8 cannot be in the bottom, and 8 cannot be in the right. So we have a ghost row. 8 has to be one of these 2 fellers. Okay, so this, both these 3, all 3 of these cubes are all now marked out. So we just have the outer 4 corners not fully marked out yet. Which one should we go for? Let's go for this top right one. Okay, we've got our 1, we've got our 2, got our 3. So no 4 across the bottom, and no 4 up the left side because of this feller. So we have 4 spots. Let's go ahead and just mark them. It's getting to kind of the part where I don't like marking so much. Okay, 5 across the top, 5 through the center. So 5 could still be in 4 spots. 6, not across the left side and not across the top. So 6 could still be in these 3 spots. We've got our 7s already marked. Okay, and we have an 8 up the right, 8 across the bottom. So we have 3 spots that could be 8. And then 9, no 9 through the middle, no 9 through the left. So we have 3 spots that could be 9. This one, oop, I missed it. This one or this one. Okay, so that's fully marked out. A lot of numbers on there. That makes it kind of hairy. Okay, let's come down here to this bottom right one. We've got a 1. Okay, no 2 down the right side. Kind of looking at ghost rows and things as I'm writing them in here too. There's my 2. So no 3 down the left side. 4, 5. We need a 6. No 6 down the left and no 6 across the top. Oh, so remember I'm talking about those double locks, folks. Check this out. 6 and a 9 coming across the top and a 6 and a 9 coming down the left leaves 2 spots that are now 6 and 9. So they are now double locked. They cannot be any other number. They have to be 6s and 9s. So that means that these 2 cells have to be 2s and 3s. Well, this one cannot be a 3, so that makes it a 2. That sorts this 3 out. That makes this one our 2 there. Now I'm going to look up this row here. One of these 3 was a 3. Well, this is the only one left to be a 3 because these 3s are gone. Okay, this one has to now be a 4. Well, this one can't be a 4 anymore, so the only number left here is an 8. And the only number left here is a 5. Okay, these are 3s and 4s, and we have a 3 and a 4 here, so we're just going to flop those around. 4s and 3s. Okay, I'm just double checking my pencil works. I'm going to have some more to erase here in just a moment. Okay, so we have a 5. That's right here. Now this is fully marked out, but now if I take my 5 away, all we need is in these 2 spots to complete this column is a 7 or an 8. Well, I have an 8 right there. So this cell has to be our 8 and this cell has to be our 7. So now I have a lot more to erase because I also have a 4. Let me get rid of this 4 and this 8. Let me get rid of this 4 and this 8. Now if I get rid of this 4 and 8, you'll notice this cell only has one number left. Can't be a 4 and 8, so it has to be a 9. There's our 9. Now if this is a 4 or a 9, and that's our 9, there's our 4. Okay, get rid of the 4, just cleaning up my pencil marks. Now you'll notice that I have a 5 and a 6 over here, and this is the only spot left for a 2. Okay, and now with that 9 at the top, that's going to help me down here with my 6. That's going to help me with my 9. Oops, I fat fingered that. There we go, is my 9. Now we have a 6 that's here. We're just going to cascade these on over. Okay, there we go. All right. And everything is looking neat and tidy up here. We do have our 7. So if this was a 7 or a 6 and it's not a 7 anymore, it is now a 6. Clean up my pencil work and you'll see that's a nice 1 and 7. It's very tidy. Very tidy. Okay. Now I do have, now that this is a 6, we can come on back over here and now we know that this one has to be a 5 and that one has to be a 6. We can follow this 5 on back to this guy. Once you get all those pencil marks going and you start to solve them, they just kind of cascade like dominoes and fall on through. So you got to be real careful with the pencil marks. I have got myself tangled up a time or two where I deleted the wrong number. All right, so here we've only got 2 numbers left. It looks like a 3 and a 4. Okay, so let me just kind of clean that up. And those are double locked. They cannot be anything else. And then the other 3 numbers we're now missing across the bottom, of course, is our 1, 8, and 9. You can kind of see the 8 and the 9 here. They're going to help each other out down here. We do have a 1, so 1, 8, and 9. Okay. The two numbers that we're missing here, it looks like a 3 and a 9. Let's go ahead and throw those guys in there for just a moment. 3s and 9s. This one looked like it was a 1 or an 8. Let's double check that because we've got an 8 right here. I didn't have this one fully marked out, and this is where you've got to be careful to not get ourselves tied up. I think we had this column done, but let me just double check. So if this is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So using both the column and the row together, I know that this can only be a 1. Now that helps us turn this back into a 7, turns this one into a 1. We can go ahead and clean up this one. And now with this one and this one, we know that there's just one spot left. And now this is our 8 and 9. We've got one number missing here. Looks like a 4. Okay, that 4 is going to come on down here and help us make this one a 3 and make this one a 4. This 3 is going to fall a domino and help us turn this one into a 9, turn this one into a 3. This 9 is going to domino on back down here, an 8 and a 9. This 9 is going to domino right up here to an 8 and a 9. And the two numbers that we're now missing looks like an 8 and a 7. And I have an 8 here and a 7 here. So we'll just swap those around. 7 and 8. And there you have it, folks. Hard puzzle. Well, we didn't use any crisscross techniques on this particular one, but double locks, very important. Ghost rows. You have to be able to project those rows and columns to know what possibilities aren't even available anymore. If you have a number that's going to be in a row or a column, even if you don't know, if you're teetering between two, they still complete the whole row or the column or the cube, and you can't put that there anymore. So I hope you guys enjoyed the show. I always recommend pausing it before we play and print you off a couple copies and play along with, or being the New York Times, I play for the day, you should be able to pull it up and give it a whirl, see how you do. So thanks for watching, folks. Feel free to leave any comments, suggestions, or challenges. I welcome them all. Thanks.